Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one is a community cast entered by Atticus, who's been on the channel a few times actually. I played a few games with him, and I think I might have put up one of his... Did I put up a replay of his at one point? I think I did. I forget. I do a lot of things on this channel. Anyway, yeah, so this is sent by Atticus, so thank you, Atticus. He's a big fan of the Dark Elves, and as you can see, he's brought them. And he's up against the Tomb Kings. So the Dark Elves, they definitely have a lot of good tools to deal with Tomb Kings. You know, they have a lot of cheap armor piercing, and some very reliable armor piercing and anti-large. It's pretty cool. So you can see here, he's got a Dark Sorceress, and she's going to do pretty well in this match. Also, you can see he's got some Harpies on either side. They're great for bogging things down. You know, harrying sort of archers and things like that, as well as helping out in the air. It'll be useful. So also, Dark Rise repeater crossbows. These guys can outrun basically anything that the Tomb Kings can throw at them, and they have a lot of armor-piercing missiles. In his front line, he's got Bleak Swords and Corsairs, and as you can see, the Corsairs have a few chevrons, so yeah, 39 and 33 melee attack and defense. It's going to be pretty useful. It's going to be able to cut through things like Skeleton Warriors very well, and they should do pretty well against Tomb Guard too, because Tomb Guard, they don't have a huge amount of armor, so that anti-infantry bonus is definitely going to help him out. And in the back, he's got 3 Blackguard and Agarond, which is very scary indeed, and I think the reason why he could afford them is because he went with a Dreadlord, sword and crossbow. And actually, I think this is a great pick, because on a horse, he's quick enough to sort of, you know, escape any danger, you know, from the Tomb Kings. But also, he's got some pretty good armor-piercing missile damage at 334, so he'll be able to harry some of the big constructs, you know, pretty safely, and get a lot of damage in. And in the back, you don't often see this, but he's got 2 Reaper bolt throwers, and these guys will do pretty significant damage if you can keep them safe. So pretty cool. So the Tomb Kings here, right away, 3 units of Tomb Scorpions. These guys are pretty formidable, and they can Vanguard, which is why they're so far ahead. And yeah, I do love Tomb Scorpions, but they can have to watch out against things like the Blackguard, especially. So, but they're pretty great at just sort of saturating the front line. They'll tend to knock things over a lot. They tend to bury themselves a lot, so archers can't hit them as reliably. And also some carrion, so this is exactly why these Harpies are going to be very useful. It's going to be able to protect the Sorceress. So here you can see he's got 4 units of Skeleton Warriors, so, you know, that's really going to help, you know, trigger Realm of Souls. And they got backup here of 4 Ushabti, which is very scary indeed. And he's also got a Necrotect, so being able to heal your constructs is vital when you have this many. Also, he's got Scepter of the Imperishable on his War Sphinx. So, very scary indeed. So, it should be a good one. So, let's speed things up and see what spell this is. So, judging from the sky, I'd say that's a Doom Bolt. And Kapow. So, pretty good damage. Blade Wind as well. Again, significant damage here. So he's basically just trying to hit the Skeleton Warriors as quickly as possible. If he can basically use up all the charges around the Souls, and use the constructs again to get less healing once they're in combat. So you see all the Tomb Scorpions are charging through, but there's Blackguard on each of them, and the Blackguard are going to have a field day fighting these guys. So it's going to be very scary. It's going to be very tough to deal with them. So the Tomb Scorpions probably should have waited for backup. Also on this side and this side, all of these units I think stopped because the Harpies flew over them, which is very scary. These Corsairs should have a field day taking out the Skeleton Warriors, so that's great news. And yeah, so this Carrion are gone, so the Sorceress is free to do what she wants to do. But this frontline engagement is going to be pretty tough for the Dark Elves. Just the overwhelming amount of Ushabti is pretty scary. And here you can see the Tomb Scorpions have both attacked the Reaper Bolt Throwers, which unfortunately they're not going to be able to kill the crew before the Blackguard can get on top of them again, which is a real pity, because that's 1,000 each the Tomb Scorpions cost. The one in the middle also crumbling. It's pretty rough. So here, another Blade Wind to try and help kill the Skeleton Spearmen. You can see they're having a lot of difficulty, but these Ushabti are all in fine health. So that's pretty worrisome. So here you can see the Bleak Swords are coming to help out, hopefully get rid of these Skeleton Warriors, but the Ushabti are going to do great against all of this infantry. So over on this side you can see the Necrotect is trying to chase the Dark Riders, and here Cetra is actually fighting this Dreadlord, which is great. You want to do that while the Reaper Bolt Throwers are offline and the Dark Riders are being chased off, so that's brilliant play by the Tomb Kings there, and kind of makes up for the fact that his Tomb Scorpions are getting absolutely trounced. He's about to lose his 3rd here. Oof, that's rough. And huge Gaggler units here. This is probably the biggest mistake of the battle, unfortunately. While he's microing all the stuff here, trying to, you know, pick good engagements, he's basically been chasing a shattered unit of Bleak Swords the whole time. So there are some Bleak Swords in here somewhere. Yeah, a few somewhere. anyway, it's just a juicy target for spells. So, boom! Huge damage to Skeleton Warriors again. That puts the Dark Sorceress up to 122 kills. And now the Reaper Bolt Throwers are online. They're able to harry Cetra. The Dark Riders were able to harry him. You know, everything was able to shoot at him. You know, the Blackguard managed to get back into the engagement. So Cetra's had to run away. But most of his army was just wrapped up, chasing a shattered unit down. So these guys need to get in here and start doing some work. But unfortunately, the amount of Blackguard here, that is not good for the Ushabti. I mean, they're just going to have huge bonuses against each other. Because the Ushabti, you know, armor piercing and anti-infantry. Blackguard, armor piercing, anti-large. That's tough, alright? So it's going to be pretty even, but there's a lot more Blackguard. But luckily, there are enough Skeleton Warriors to come in here and start, you know, getting some of the attention from these Blackguard. Over here, unfortunately, all the, you know, Dark Elf units have got finished off over here. But, you know, the Ushabti did take a lot of damage. Cetra has taken a huge amount of damage. And the Reaper Bolt Throwers and the Dark Riders are all able just to fire into whatever they like. So you can see the Ushabti are taking a lot of armor-piercing missile fire here and fighting a load of armor-piercing anti-large units. It's a real struggle. Sorceress, once again, diving in here to get in the action, which is good to see. She is bold as brass, that one. So, Cetra, he's trying to chase things off, but he's getting hit by more of these armor-piercing missiles. All the Reaper Bolt Throwers are shooting at him, and he's such a massive target. They can barely miss. So, oh, okay, they missed then. Anyway, that one hit him in the back of the knee. That can't be nice for that poor War Sphinx. So, poor kitty. So, here you can see all the Ushabti are starting to really suffer in this engagement. The Blackguard are just holding too firm here, but they have taken a huge amount of damage. So, but that is tough. It would have been good to hit one at a time, just pin them all with skeletons, get all the Ushabti fighting one unit of Blackguard, and then go to the next. And here, Usek's Incantation, Desiccation, it's basically Enfeebling Foe, but AoE, it's devastating. So that's really going to help, but it might be a little too late, because most of the Ushabti are dead. So they're not going to be able to get as many hits off on these units, but definitely a great spell to have. So here you can see the Necrotect came in here, and actually anything that's being thrown at him he's able to deal with. He's got full health, he's in fine shape, so he will be able to shut down this Reaper Bolt Thrower, which is about time, but it's got loads of ammo left, so that is great to be able to stop him from using all that ammunition. And the Harpies aren't able to deal with him, and the Sorceress isn't healthy enough to deal with him either. So over here, Cetra running back in should help a bit. So here, big explosion, but unfortunately he was mostly in his own lines there, so slightly misplaced with that one. So, real pity. And now, you know, all this stuff is coming back in. But here, the Ushabti Summon has finally been procced, and that Reaper Bolt Thrower is getting taken out. Unfortunately, he's used most of his ammunition, so it's made its value there easily. But it'll get taken care of, so that's good news. It might be worth putting it over here, or on top of the Dark Riders, maybe. Because the Dark Riders are going to get pretty screwed over. They're not great in melee. But yeah, that Reaper Bolt Thrower, actually I guess it does have quite a few shots left. Let's see. Yeah, another 8 shots actually. That's still plenty. So fair enough. Shut that down. So here you can see the Dark Sorcerer is having a lot of challenge here. The Necrotect is having a whale of a time, and the Necrotect is going to carry on attacking this Reaper Bolt Thrower. Make sure that crew can't come back. So here you can see everything else is crumbled. Cetra's dead. It's looking pretty bad. The amount of AP he's got here. I mean, these guys will be crumbling just because you know, they're summoned units. So he could just run away, honestly. He could just, send the swordsman after them just to pin him down a bit and wait. Because so far, balance of power is, you know, slightly in the Dark Elves' favour, but not a huge amount. And that's because the Necrotect and the Ushabti are both very healthy. But as you can see, as the Ushabti is getting hurt, the balance of power is shifting pretty quickly. So he calls it a day. Yeah, this Tomb King, he's had enough. He's had enough. Fair enough, because there's no way he could beat this. So yeah, fair play. So Pyrrhic victory. So let's have a look at the end screen. So as you can see, Blackguard, you know, they held firm. Not a huge amount of kills, but you got to remember they were taking on Ushabti and Tomb Scorpions for the whole battle. So that's pretty huge. Again, Dark Riders, not a huge amount of kills, but they were focused on Ushabti and Cetra. Again, with these guys, not a lot of kills. They were focused on Cetra. So you know, not a huge amount of kills for the elite stuff, but the Dark Sorceress was able to clear out so much of the chaff, and you know, the Corsairs helped out a bunch, so it's pretty cool to see. But you know, with an army this small, only 500 units, 135 of them getting killed by one unit is pretty significant. So it's definitely worth getting rid of that chaff, and having someone like the Sorceress there able to do that is really good. So that was definitely hard fought and very cool, but Tomb King player especially, he's got to watch out for those flying units. They will ruin your attack orders if they fly overhead. If you've got a group charge, they will just attack the first thing, that's in front of them, and often that's flying units, and since they can't reach them, they'll just stop moving. And that really messed up that initial engagement, which is a real pity, because, yeah, he could have wiped out most of the front line while the Blackguard were busy chasing down those Scorpions, and it would have really given a lot more value to the Scorpions. You know, their sacrifice would have been a bit more worthwhile. You know, Cetra could have run in, and these could have, while they were split up, you know, Ushabti could have charged them all in the back, and, you know, crippled one at a time. But he basically just stayed in a blob. He allowed the Dark Elf player here, Atticus, to, you know, really just pick his engagements, and you really don't want to let the Dark Elves do that. With all their armor piercing, all that utility, you've got to take out one unit at a time. The Ushabti are very quick on foot. They can pick their targets, so you've got to do that, definitely. But great battle. So guys, if you enjoyed this, well, actually, first off, if you want to send in a replay, feel free. I love seeing, you know, community replays, and I love putting them on the channel. So, thank you, Atticus, for sending this one in. If anyone else wants to send any in, if you can find me on Discord, then you can send it there in a private message. But, more commonly, you can email them to me at JanetOnOccasion@gmail.com. So, if you send them there, with just a brief description of the battle, you know, what your tactic was, if you had any particular synergy that's interesting, that was, you know, the basis of your army, then I'd love to hear about that, because, you know, I love to know what you guys are thinking in these battles, so, you know, so I can probably tell everyone else what your plan was. So, it's always good to know. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.